If you're wondering why the country is so divided, it's because of things like this. NBC came down to cover the ICE raids in Charlotte, North Carolina. Of course, they interviewed people who were against the raids, and they interviewed one person who was for them. That interview looks like this.
Some North Carolinians welcoming the enforcement. Renee White drove more than 2 hours to show her support for immigration agents.
I was able to pick up a couple of dozen of donuts and some coffee and to let them know that I supported them. And I totally support what they're doing in Charlotte.
Is this what you voted for?
Yes, it is. Yep. I voted for it in 2016, I voted for it in 2020, and I voted for it in 2024.
All right, Julie Ainsley joins us tonight.
After what NBC alleged is happening, this woman seems like a crazy person that she would bring donuts to the ICE agents and that she would be proud of what she voted for. The only problem is that, shocker, they edited her interview. Let's compare and contrast what was said in her actual interview and what NBC chose to use in their interview.
Okay, so can we start with your first and last name and the spelling?
Yep. My name is Renee White. That's Renee, last name White, like the color WHITE.
Okay, great. So, Renee, why did you decide to come out here tonight?
Curiosity. Kind of wanted to see what it was, what their signs were, if they were actually meeting. You know, because a lot of times we see things on news and it's not really happening like they say. So I always like to do a visual, kind of get a feel of what's actually going on.
Okay.
I came down yesterday. I was looking to meet up with the ICE, and I ended up going to Homeland Security because I was told that they were all going to be there. So I went to Homeland Security and asked them if I could bring back some donuts. And as I did, ICE was coming in and changing out cars and getting into cars and doing whatever. So it worked out pretty good. I was able to pick up a couple of dozen of donuts and some coffee and to let them know that I supported them and what they're doing.
Okay. And what did they say back to you?
Oh, they were very thankful. They were very grateful that, I expressed, how I felt and whatever. And I had my chat group on and everybody, was all supportive of them and stuff. So, it's kind of good to kind of see what's actually going on. But it's also good when you support some. I don't have a problem with people coming in this country. I just want it to be legal. My grandparents came here from Ellis Island. They had to come in the old way. And if they were sick back in the day, they weren't even allowed to come here. There was a lot difference than, now. So open borders, I'm not for it because you don't know who's coming in. And it does need to be vetted.
And what do you think when you see videos of some of the aggressive tactics by Border Patrol when they're arresting people out of cars, breaking windows? How does that sit with you?
I think some of that is a little bit of it I've watched. A lot of it seems pretty staged. I've seen a couple of them where it doesn't even seem like it's actually really happening. But if they're taking out somebody who isn't supposed to be here or has done things like what I've heard them do, the one guy I think they picked up, I heard earlier tonight that they picked him up, and he had been breaking into cars and everything else, and taking people's belongings, so I do have a problem with that. I want everybody to be able to come here, but I want them to come here the right way. That's the only thing I want.
So what do you think about what President Trump is doing on immigration?
I think he's going to make some changes on it. I think he's going to do a lot. I think he wants a lot of people to come here, that are going to come here and come here for good. Come here, to do good, not to do wrong. I think we have a lot of gang members. I think we have a lot of MS-13. I think we have a lot of people like that, and that worries me. That, I've got kids, around here and stuff. I don't want them harmed. I don't want them to do that. I don't believe in sanctuary cities. I moved out of Cleveland, Ohio, when they were doing sanctuary cities. I didn't think it was right. I don't believe that, taking them in and giving them a place to be and harboring them is a good thing. I think, if they do it the right way, then it's a different thing, But listen, all of my grandparents came here through Ellis Island. All my great-grandparents. My grandparents, some of them were kids, some of them were born here, whatever. But they came through Ellis Island. If we had something like that again, if we had like a screening process, we didn't let people in that were sick or had polio or anything else, So it's a big difference.
You support what Border Patrol is doing in Charlotte?
Yeah, I do. I totally support what they're doing in Charlotte.
Is this what you voted for?
Yes, it is. Yep, I voted for it in 2016, I voted for it in 2020, and I voted for it in 2024.
And you vote for it again?
Oh, yes. Oh, I wish he could run again. I'm in fear of what's going to happen after the 3 years is over and what's going to happen after that. So, yeah.
Well, very good. Well, what do you make of all this tonight? What do you think of people who are out to support the immigrant community and protest ICE and Border Patrol?
Like I said, I support immigrants. but the right way. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I just don't want them coming here illegally. I don't want people like being sleeper cells in my neighborhood. I don't want it. I know we have it even up in the mountains. I know we do. So it worries me. It worries me. So I like getting a grip on it and knowing who's here. I like knowing, that they're looking out for me and my interests. Look at how many people come across the border that came across during the Biden term. There was a lot.
10 million.
Yeah, yeah, coming and pouring in daily. Now we're down to minimal, right?
Yeah.
Right. So at least we know and we can vet. And if you can vet people, it's a big difference than to let them in. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not for not having immigrants here. I just want them to come the right way.
Well, I understand you. So thank you so much for your time. Thanks for talking out with us.
Thank you.
So NBC has become the new BBC, and they might as well all be lumped together. All the mainstream media sources do this, and if you're still listening to those sources, don't you wonder if there's ever anything good that they talk about with the Trump administration? Is it all bad? Is it possible that every single thing the man does is bad? Or could it be that perhaps the news is completely biased? What do you think?